This is your ultimate guide to the NBA playoffs on Sorare NBA. Don't worry, I've got you covered. This video is going to explain absolutely everything. As you guys that have been watching my videos know, I'm not too bad at Sorare NBA. I do win quite a bit. So look, watch this video to the full. Let me know how you think this is going to go as well, like what Sorare should do, what you'd like them to see do, what you're not a fan of, and so on and so forth. Because everything in the comments is all constructive as well for next year. It all builds up. This is their first year. So this is the big thing with it. As ever as well, normally I don't do this on all these videos. I normally do it on my game week ones. I'll do a giveaway for the NBA platform. I'll give away a card, a limited card from an NBA team. And do you know what? I'll do a starting player from an NBA team. I haven't decided who it'll be yet. That'll be at the end of the video. So stick around for that. To be in with the chance for that, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment down below telling me who you think is going to win the Western Conference. Who's going to come out of the West? That's what I want to know for this video. And if I look at everything that's been announced from Sorare for what they're doing in the playoffs, there really is only a few minute details that I'd say you need to pay attention to. I wouldn't shift your gallery entirely, but just focus on this specific key date. So we'll start off with the first question, which is pretty much the basic one that you're going to need to know. When are the Sorare NBA playoffs happening? When are the NBA playoffs happening? And when are Sorare doing their weekly tournaments with it? As you can see on the screen, game week 49 is the rough preliminary start. They can change, but at the moment, that's when they're feeling that the playing round is going to happen. And it will run all the way to game week 56. That's where we're going to get game week 49 to game week 56 of pure playoff Sorare NBA competitions. As you can see, that will be the play-in in the first round as the first one, and then it will be the normal playoff progress. It will go first round for the conference semis, conference semifinals, finals, comp finals, and then the NBA finals is how this is going to happen. Now, what type of competitions are we likely to see during the playoffs on Sorare NBA? Now, from what they've initially announced, things could change and they might add some in. I don't think they're going to take any away. We're going to be getting limited contender and champion, rare contender and champion, super rare contender and champion. We're not going to be getting any of the sort of specific week on week sort of changing ones. So we won't get like an underdog or an all offensive one that we're going to get for game week 44 and so on and so forth that would get for normally other weeks. We will see a common pickup where we will I'd like to think we'll still see limited rewards in there for the free to play mode, but there won't be a common no cap. That hasn't been announced. So there could be stuff added, but they're the preliminary game modes that we can be expecting for the playoffs. I'm going to show you how to have the best possible playoffs in Sorare and Sorare NBA, and share with you some sort of knowledge I've got from, we've been doing a podcast now on the NBA for almost 4 years now. So I've got a little bit of knack of what to expect during the playoff time. And I think this will go hand in hand with what happens on Sorare and the fixtures that we get. So last week, if you look back at the Medium post that Sorare published on behalf of what they're planning to do for the playoffs, the main things were sort of at the bottom, and there isn't too much to it, but this will be quite a big impacting factor, I believe, across the lineups. If you look at the special scoring bonus here, all limited rare, super rare, and unique cards owned by managers before the start of the Sorare playoffs, which is chalked at the moment for game week 49, they'll get a 15% scoring bonus for the playoffs. Now, it's not the end of the world if you go and pick someone up after this, but the 15% is huge in the general gist of these MVP players. Now, I'll explain why. If we go over here, back to sort of where we're at the moment, ignore my week's competitions. Some have gone well, some have not gone great. But if we go back to the general gist, if I go through, Taurine Prince right now as a rare card, as everyone knows, they get 5% on the season, but 10% on the rarity. Like, you're in the midst of a rare and a super rare boost. Like, that's how big it is of the factor for it. Now, they've done this for a particular reason, I believe, to try and revive the market. They slowed primary auctions down quite a lot and try and boost the secondary market from it. And this will help. And I do expect to see a revamp in primary auctions near around the playoff time and also before this date of April the 11th. Because people are going to want to get stuff in for their gallery for those specific playoff matches. By that point, you will sort of have an idea of who's going to be in the play-ins, at least, definitely, and also in the playoffs. So you can really focus in on the cards that you want. I've been building for this, and I've been trying to say to you guys now for a couple of weeks, I'm sure as you've been watching my videos, to sort of not 100% go all eggs in one basket for these sort of teams, but angle it, approach it a little bit different. If you are going to buy players or trade for players, just look and keep that in the back of your heads. There is also a counterpoint to this. Now, as we can see on the screen, it's April the 11th, and this will be a big date in a lot of managers' heads that play this game that are thinking, okay, I need to go this guy, by April the 11th. And whilst that has some merit, there is also the opportunity where you think, okay, come the April the 11th on April 12th. The flip to it is that come the April 12th, I would expect then not a humongous slide off, but people that will be buying primary card auctions will drop out quite significantly, I would say, from April the 11th to April the 12th, because you're not going to get that 15% scoring bonus. Now, whilst it is big and it will have an impacting factor in lineups and in competitions, it's not the end of the world if you miss it. And if you can get someone that you've been looking for a while now for a sizable discount because they won't have this 15% scoring bonus, it's something to keep in the back of your minds, is all I'll say. I wouldn't recommend it if you're going to buy the card. If you're going to buy the card sort of now or tomorrow. So none of this is obviously financial advice, as I always have to say, but it is just something to bear in mind. If you were going to buy someone, don't think, oh, if I don't buy them the April the 11th, it's the end of the world, because you'd probably be able to get them cheaper after. That's just how I feel it would go. I could be wrong, obviously, but that's just how I see things playing out. The other thing to know, mainly for the sort of competitions and the scoring matrix that's going on for the playoffs, they're having playoff tournaments. So they'll have their weekly competitions, like I've mentioned before, with this sort of graphic that I showed, and they'll have these each week. So we're not getting 2 deadlines per week anymore. It's 1 week, and that locks you in for the playoffs. I think there's pros and cons to this. The pros are that you haven't got to have 2 deadlines. You don't have to chop and change and worry about an L10 for 2 different times. I don't know what I think they're still keeping the cap spaces, which I would have liked to see a no cap mode, but regardless. The other thing with this as well is that if you do get injuries during the midweek, or people that, again, I'll touch on this in a minute, when you come to the playoffs, minutes are really restricted between certain guys. You won't see coaches go to their bench a lot unless they're really, really in garbage time and they're saving them on a road trip. That's rarely the only time you'll see it in the playoffs. So that can be the worry. If you're picking those sort of differential guys in your lineups, that's the concern, is what I'll say. But regardless, they're doing the weekly competitions. They're 8 free-to-play tournaments across all of them. There'll also be a cumulative tournament across the whole entirety of the playoffs. So, for example here, the way they've explained it is your 8 limited contender lineup scores will be added together to create your limited contender score. Your 8 limited champions lineup scores will be total to produce your limited champion tournament score, and so on. So if you're playing at the start of the playoffs, it is a really big deal because you can get a cumulative score. You will get an advantage if someone forgets to do it that same week. So that's what they're doing. They're trying to focus you to play the whole week, the whole playoff time. They want you there for the start, which I really like. I think it's a great thing. It engages everyone to get right in at the play-ins at the playoffs and go right the way through to the playoff finals. That's the whole gist of the playoffs. Everyone loves the NBA playoffs, and I am a big fan that they've done a cumulative one like that. They did this somewhat similarly on the football side during the World Cup, I do remember. Yeah, so these were my Global Cup lineups during the World Cup that I played. And as you can see, like 9,000, 100,000, 8,000, 4,000, 30, 47, 82. There was a varied amount of rewards here. But in the end, I ended up finishing in the top sort of 2,000 cumulative throughout the whole time, even though I never got a top 2,000 at all, because I had somewhat of good ranks consistently. I mean, even though 81,000th in the final game week doesn't sound great, it was out of 623,000, so you're in a top percentile regardless. So when you go through all of this here, as you can see, it started out at 429,000 and ended at 623, so more people joined during the whole of the World Cup. I suspect that'll be the case during the playoffs as well. If you start the first game week, you will gain an advantage on everyone across it. So that's the main thing for it. And if you keep playing, and even if you don't have a great week per se, like this one, you can still win something overall at the end. And I think I won a guy that was like 40 quid or $40 at the end of it. So I mean, from a free-to-play game, you're never going to moan at that, and that helped me set up and buy a couple of cards on the NBA side. You could withdraw that money and keep it. It's however you see fit. It's your own prerogative at the end of the day. Going back to the Medium post, they also mentioned tournament rewards. So these will be real life rewards that they'll do. There'll be custom NBA merch. So I mean, like Sorare sent me out some a little care package of like a hat, a hoodie, a t-shirt, and all that stuff. So big love to them for that. But they'll do some custom NBA merch. Maybe it'll be like along the same lines of when they launched the baseball version, they had those sort of baseball jackets, Sorare ones. They look really cool. They had game tickets and a lot more beyond of it. $100,000 worth of in real life rewards. So again, fantastic. This is great. There's more rewards, which is what people wanted to see on the NBA side, because obviously there's no ETH yet. Not that I think ETH is the end of the world, but there's, at the moment, when you see in the football side of things, there's loads and loads of stuff that can be won regardless of ETH or player cards. They do those limited El Clasico tournaments and the Serie A one with the AC Milan where you flew on the plane with the players. Hasn't been as much with the NBA yet, but this is a really positive sign to see that there is something like this. My only concern will be how domiciled the rewards are. Like when they say tickets and stuff, obviously if you're winning a ticket and you're living in sort of Italy, it's going to be a bit hard for you to sort of get there in a week perhaps, but I'm sure they've got plans to set like away rounds giving these prizes out to people that are not in the US or Northern America or near the US. That's my only thing, but I still think it's a really positive sign. And also Sorare cards are not included in these, so these are going to be strictly tangible rewards is what I'll say. So going back to sort of the general scoring system and how I'd recommend you set lineups and galleries and plan for lineups and galleries. Little quick shout out and plug. We have our Swingman Sorare Society League here where we do our 2 videos every week on our game week lineups. If you're not a member of this league yet, this free to play mini league, I will leave the link in the description down below. Join it, it's free. Be a part of the community here that we're building. And, you know, there might be some prizes come the playoff time from me and potentially someone else. In regards to your gallery then. So for the playoffs, I've always mentioned that minutes get tighter during the playoffs. Everyone will bang on that the game itself is completely different during the playoffs. And I'd agree, there's an argument to definitely be made that there is something along those lines of that the playoffs gets tighter, the game changes, people actually play defense and yada, yada, yada. The one thing I will say though, is that minutes definitely get tighter. There is no way people will go 12 deep on their bench. It just doesn't happen in the playoffs, especially towards the back end as well. You will get the rare circumstance where if a team is really being beaten down hard in the playoffs and they're down sort of 25-30, the coach will chalk that game up, especially even less if they're on a road trip and you've got a 2-day window. They'll chalk that up and they will sit their main guys. So it can go both ways. But normally minutes are tighter and the best guys play a lot more minutes than they will in the regular season. You'll see clips from way above and beyond from Shaq talking about Embiid a couple of years back, where if he'd get sort of 25 and 8 in the regular season, he needs to get 35 and 14 in the playoffs. That's the mindset of these top guys, like these top tier guys. And B's been doing that this year in the regular season anyway, so you should be looking at a kick on from him. But regardless to it, top guys will play more minutes in the playoffs. It's how it works. It's how it normally goes. A little quick sort of showing of this, shall I say. This is the series between Boston and the Golden State Warriors in the finals last year. If you go through and you look at the box scores for these general series where the Dubs got it 4-2, you can see that when you go through, Steph Curry averaged 37.5, Andrew Wiggins was 39, Clay was 38, Draymond was 36. And then you've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 deep. 8. That's including Otto Potter Jr. and Kevin Looney. I can see this going to even 7 with the Warriors this year, maybe 8, depending on what happens with Wiggins and Jordan Poole and DiVincenzo and so on and yada yada. But again, it's just that they're not going to go more than sort of 8 deep. So these cards that you're getting sort of, if you're picking up guys with low L10s thinking, oh, they might be a really good fit for the playoffs, just be careful for it. They can be, and they could be in that particular game week. But because we're only having 1 deadline per week now, it's hard to see. You're going to have to predict in advance that a team is going to get beaten down badly, and that in garbage time, these guys are going to get extended minutes out on the court. And it's not just the Warriors in that case. Look at Boston. Jason Tatum, almost 41 minutes a night. Jaylen Brown, 39. Smart, 35. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys here. I'm not including Neesmith here with 3 minutes. This is garbage time stuff that they've been getting. So again, just think about it. It's not going to be going like you saw the Magic the other night went down to like 12 or 13 on their bench. No team will do that. It isn't just this. This is just how the playoff goes. This is how the playoffs goes if you're new to sort of the NBA playoffs. If this is your first year really getting involved in the NBA, this is just what happens during playoff time. So then you're probably now asking me, okay, well, you've told me all of this information. Who should I be targeting? Who should I look to pick up? Or if I've got them in my gallery, who should I be looking to play each week? Now, obviously, it depends on what week we're in. First week will be play-ins, and I think there was first round stuff in there. Let me have a quick check. Play-in tournament, first round, and then it's the first round. So obviously, you're going to want to look at exploiting matchups within those, and also who you thinking generally are going to win. The other thing that is interesting to note as well is how they're going to space out the games, because obviously a series in the first round, a feasible team like the Sixers or the Bucks could sweep someone 4-0, whereas you do get some surprises and it can go to a 7-game series in some. So obviously, if it's going 4-0, you're only getting 4 bites at the cherry here, where if you think a series is going to go 7 games deep, you could look at potentially playing a few guys from there because you're going to get 7 bites a top tier score from one of these guys. So that's also another thing just to bear in mind. So you're also probably thinking now, all right, you've told me all this information. Just tell me some guys who I should be looking at. And also if they're in my gallery, who I should be playing. So I'll run you through some of the picks that I would recommend picking up, or if you've got them, playing them. So to do this, I'll show you through Sorare data, not an ad. It's just quite a useful tool to do. Obviously, I don't need to tell you that getting Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, or Jason Tatum would be a good play. I'm only saying this because when I think you're looking at who to pick up for galleries and you're looking at sort of, we quickly show this again, and you're looking at this as the schedule, obviously the key thing to note would be you want people that are going to be in the finals. You want that's the obvious. That's the Will Buxton quote of this all. If you don't know who he is, if you don't watch Drive to Survive, that's the obvious quote of this entire thing. Targeting guys from those teams is key. You're going to want to make sure whoever you think is going to win the finals, go for that team. You can also target conference finals teams, because if they're going to get to the finals, you also have then a chance of obviously going for the finals. Looking at the Denver Nuggets, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Sixers, the Suns, depending if KD is back or not, I still think the Suns will be there or thereabouts. I'd never count out the Golden State Warriors, even though how bad they've been this year on the road. So just look at sort of what you think is going to happen and aim for those teams. That's the best way you can do it. You can look at the odds from Vegas and everything like that, but just go with your instinct, because then you're only letting yourself down if you get it wrong. That's the only way. I'd never want to blame someone else. But the four teams I think are those in particular. I would say the Bucks. I'd say the Celtics, but you could go the Sixers at the moment of how well they've been. The Suns. The only thing as well, the Grizzlies and the Kings are really high up in the West. I just yet to see any playoff heritage from them. That's be my only cause for concern. So me personally, I'd still look at the Nuggets. I'd look at the Warriors, and I'd look at the Suns before them, just because I know that they've done it in the playoffs before. I'm yet to see it from the Grizzlies and the Kings. From the East, I'm definitely going for the Bucks. I'm definitely going for the Celtics. I'm definitely going for the Sixers. I'd then also maybe look at the Miami Heat, but at the moment they'd play the Celtics, and I'd probably back Boston to go through there. But for example, a player like Jimmy Butler always in the playoffs turns up, and he'll turn it up a sizable notch as well. So Jimmy Butler is always a great card to have regardless. Right, so going back to this then, you're going to want to make sure you have one top tier MVP is what I will say, because also, again, we're going for the cumulative tournaments here. If you're playing limited champion, you're going to want an MVP that you think is going to get right to the end. Luckily for me, I've had an Embiid all year. I do think the Sixers have a good chance of getting to the finals per se. Maybe not the NBA finals, but the conference finals. And thus he'll be my MVP on that Eastern side. If you have the ability to do it, if you're playing the free-to-play version as well, if you can try and use your card swaps or accumulate them through playing in the competitions, look to have an MVP that you think will get from the West side and also the East side. Because then from that in particular alone, you're covered on both angles. And when it comes to the playoff finals, you could have a guy that's playing in both and maybe squeeze them both in, or you've at least got one top tier MVP from that side of the division. So just make sure that you've got an East Conference guy and a West Conference guy that you think is your top dog, your MVP. Now, obviously I can sit here and state all of these players are good, but what I will do is I'll scroll the L10 down to, let's say, in the mid 30s. So we'll go here. Now, I've been accruing some of these guys for a couple weeks now, maybe even months beforehand in trades, just trying to get my gallery in a place where they might not have been the best play for that particular week, but they will have more utility through the long run and in the playoffs. So I picked up a Drew Holiday. I wanted to get a Chris Middleton, but I'm still a little bit worried about his injury doubts. I have an Aaron Gordon, another second unit guy in the Nuggets. Tyrese Maxey, someone I'm looking at picking up rare. But if you go through all of these here, Dante DiVincenzo always normally plays a little bit better in the playoffs, especially when he did in the Bucks series. Tobias Harris, he's that third role player for the Sixers. Robert Williams, if he can stay fit, he'd be a great one. Bruce Brown will get consistent minutes in the playoffs. Normally, he's been a utility guy for the Nuggets. He can play at the 1, the 2, the 3, comes off the bench and plays 25 minutes a night. I'd see him definitely being used in the playoffs regardless. He'll be quite cheap. D'Anthony Melton for the Sixers, another good pickup. Pat Connaughton, I know his minutes have come down a little bit, but I can suspect if Chris Middleton gets injured, he'd be a guy that you can look at there. And that's another strategy that you can target, of that if you do think guys are going to be sat at games, or if you think guys are going to get less minutes, always look for their counterpart backups. It is a gamble to do, but it is something that could play off in these particular tournaments. Marcus Smart, again, another guy that will play key minutes for the Boston Celtics during the playoff series. And if Jason Tatum's not having a good one, normally one of the other guys in the Celtics will step up. Marcus Smart, been very bad, I'd say, this year for his standards. But in the playoffs, again, players do normally tend to rise to the occasion. Bobby Portis is a great one from the Bucks in particular as well. If Giannis sits a game, Bobby Portis will see a big uptick in his minutes and also his usage. If Marcus Smart's not doing too well, Derek White is definitely someone this year that has been doing very, very well and not been getting, I'd say, the recognition that he deserves for it. And then even like players like a PJ Tucker at 37 years of age, this whole season he's been sort of memed of being like pure cardio out there. But then come the playoff times, we do remember that he's actually quite a good basketball player. He's the same as Jay Crowder. These guys won't have their sort of flowers during the regular season, but come the playoffs, they will have a game or two where they really do step up for their teams. PJ Tucker's one of these guys, and like right now he's like £1.46. So it's not like you're breaking the bank to do it. And with his L10, it's something that could be a beneficiary to you come that time. I'm not saying go out and rush and buy PJ Tucker. It's just an example I'm using. So yeah, that's that from me. I mean, I don't know, I'm uncommon. That's that from me in this general playoff video. The two main things to mention, obviously, were the 15% and also the cumulative sort of scoring across the whole, the cumulative scoring across the whole of the playoffs. Like I've mentioned beforehand, if you haven't already, make sure you join our Swingman Sorare Society League. There will be a link in the description down below for it. We're trying to get as many members as we can here. And also, if you're liking these videos that I'm doing for the Sorare and the NBA sort of side of things, where we do these lineups, we do these in-depth analysis videos as well, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It would really, really help me out, along with leaving a like on the video and commenting down below to get involved in the giveaway. Oh, actually, I haven't even picked the giveaway card yet. So as I said at the start of the video as well, I will give away a card from a starting NBA team in the playoffs. So I thought as well, if I'm going on, I think the Suns are going to get very far, I'll give away a Torrey Craig. He's been starting at that small forward, power forward role for them at the moment. As you can see, I've just picked him up here. So to be in with a chance of winning that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like and comment down below who you think is going to come out of the Western Conference. Is it going to be the Suns? There's quite a few teams that are coming about there, but I've got a feeling it might be the Suns. I don't know. I know obviously the favorite is going to be Denver. I'm just got a feeling they're not going to do it again this year. I don't know what it is. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up. Make sure you do everything down below for the giveaway sort of thing. And also let me know how you feel about the Sorare NBA playoff competitions that they've announced for the playoffs. I'll be back on Friday to run you through my lineups for the upcoming Sorare game week and maybe go through some of my rewards that I got. We'll wait and see how it pans out. Also, if you haven't yet, our latest podcast dropped. Me and the two guys that we do the podcast with, we went through and we picked our NBA draft for one game only of current players who we think would win. Go and watch that video. Let me know who you think had the best team and who did the best draft out of all of us. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.